strategic dialogue between Bangladesh and China at the foreign ministers level has been agreed, but the two countries have decided to explore 2+2 dialogue in the realm of diplomacy and defense. We have also seen Chinese support to Bangladesh's participation in BRICS. Whether that means membership, we do not know, but the China is going to support Bangladesh on its application to becoming a member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Now, in the economic domain and the trade domain, a very important decision has been taken to increase there's a Bangladesh's treatment in the Chinese market from 98% zero tariff treatment to 100%. This is very significant. If Bangladesh industry and the economy can align itself to this, that might open a lot of opportunities for Bangladesh. There has been a decision on to explore newer options for regional connectivity. We will have details of it little later. There has been also a broaching of an idea by the Chinese on the Bangladesh-China-Myanmar corridor, slightly different from this BCIM corridor. That is also very important in this context of our bilateral collaboration as well as in the region. As far as the projects are concerned, there are two in the Mongla. One on Mongla Port Facilities Modernization and Expansion Project. A feasibility study will be done within 2 years, and then development of a Chinese economic industrial zone in Chittagong with a much bigger, I would say, landscape. This is important for us. As far as Bangladesh's interests are concerned, the people's interests are concerned, water is an important issue, and China has decided to be party to that, and they will take part in management, planning, hydrological forecasting, flood prevention, etc., to collaborate on these important areas with Bangladesh. And we expect a feasibility study on the Tista River comprehensive management and restoration project to be completed soon as possible. But there is some gap in understanding as to how this particular thing will evolve, whether it will be an irrigation project or it will be primarily a flood protection kind of a project. So that would need a clarification.
I think there are certain questions people should ask how, from the perspective of people that will contribute a tangible relationship in coming days. So first of all, whether this visit can attract higher quality investment into manufacturing. Can Bangladesh exports gain better access, as Mr. Sufiur Rahman mentioned, the market access from 98% to 100%. So whether Bangladesh export gain better access to Chinese market, then can cooperation generate skill employment for your Bangladeshis? Can technology partnership strengthen our industrialization competitiveness? Can universities, research institutions, and innovation ecosystem work more closely together? And from my perspective, I think this sort of question are very pertinent in the future of relationship. And as you mentioned, some guiding question, I will not touch upon all the issues due to time constraint, but precisely I want to mention one issue that is most talked about not in Bangladesh, and that is also territory beyond Bangladesh. That is the corridor, the more precisely termed out by the Chinese President Xi Jinping. When the issues of China, Myanmar, Bangladesh economic corridor comes up, there is we see sort of tension, geopolitics, blah, blah, blah. And when you, Mr. Rahman mentioned about the BCIM, I think we sometimes revisit history when we compare one project or one initiative with other. If I remember, back in October 2013, there was an intergovernmental meeting in Kunming. India were more or less decided, just walked away from the BCIM initiative. And from that time onwards, informally or unofficially, China floated the idea of China, Myanmar, Bangladesh economic corridor. So what is the argument for Indian walk away from the BCIM? Because we know that after the announcement of the BRI, China also mentioned there's proposed corridor in the BRI.
Potential youths who are going to get huge, boost in terms of placing them to the Chinese industries and also industries across the world, because that is what is very important. Apart from that, also we are in touch with two Chinese universities. We are actually trying to get the AI in health lab and AI lab in general over here at North South University. Many of you know that through Chinese collaborations, at this moment, we can claim that many support that we have been able to get through our SIPG and others. We did a survey or a feasibility study about the China-Bangladesh corridor possibilities in regards to the transportation and transshipment issues. And we are also, we have given the recommendation in regards to optimizing the benefit of transportation and transshipment of the product and goods, coming and going from Bangladesh to China, or, via Myanmar. All those feasibility has been done very, I would say academically, and I'm sure that the current government is also very enthusiastic about the corridor that we would like to see in the upcoming years, that will also facilitate many support for Bangladeshi, businesses, Bangladesh's trade and other opportunities. But above everything, we'd love to see that more and more Chinese funding, investment over here in our country. They have been actually a proven, partner in terms of our mega projects, the big projects over here. And that's what is one of the key things for development of our country. So let us continue that relationship. And I'm sure that this government is going to give those priority. We know that there are challenges when it comes in terms of the geopolitical and other issues. There are challenges in between, among the countries in our neighborhood and also West, sometime and often.
Both the countries can work together in resolving the Rohingya crisis. Now, what Ambassador Sukhiraman said, they are more of playing a role of facilitating. If the role is little bit elevated to conciliatory, then maybe it will be more effective. In that context, not only in the Rohingya crisis, there are many other regional crises also, on the global crisis also. In all cases, Bangladesh and China can play an effective role together to resolve those crises. In my opinion, of course, it is a new chapter. The Prime Minister has just recently visited China. Of course, we open up a new chapter. But in my opinion, in the future, when we assess the relationship in the future, probably we will not only, the relationship will not only be measured by the bilateral relationship, also how these two countries work together to resolve the regional crisis. That will be also taken into consideration in the future when we assess the relationship in the future.
We like to inform one very vital information, and that information is especially related to Bangladesh side. Today, our former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia is no more with us. It was 2002, January. The Chinese premier visited Bangladesh. There were all formal meetings. At the State Guest House, I was in between two as an interpreter. And I'm a court with authority, and I am the authority, that our Prime Minister raised or requested only one point in the entire state dinner, and that was related to how to reduce the trade imbalance.
Interesting session. I'm aware of the policy discussion that SIPG has been continuing. It's a kind of follow-up of that is coming out. So I think this will carry forward the dialogue, as well as some of the issues that Honorable Vice Chancellor also mentioned in terms of academic collaboration and raising the academic substance of collaboration between Chinese academic institutions and Bangladeshi institutions. I think that was a very important point. As far as popular dimension is concerned of this visit, a lot of popular expectations were raised with Aptista, as well as solving the Rohingya issue. So these are issues that, in fact, we we see some progress in terms of continuity, but in terms of raising the level to the strategic level, I think that probably will. But still, the discussion, the visit with Honorable Prime Minister to China, that you have raised expectation, and this will in fact continue in future.
Both governments take improving people's lives as an important goal. Both hope to strengthen independent development through opening up and cooperation. This shared development idea lays a solid political foundation for the China-Bangladesh community with a shared future in the new era, and gives our bilateral relations clear features of our time. Second, shared development brings new meaning to Bangladesh-China cooperation. If political mutual trust answers the question why we cooperate, practical cooperation answers how we realize shared development. During the high-level visit, the two sides reached many important cooperation results covering infrastructure, investment, education, human resources, and other fields. These projects belong to different sectors, yet they serve one common goal. We complement each other's strengths to achieve shared development. We improve our capacity through cooperation and continuously lift people's well-being through development. It is worth noting that Bangladesh-China cooperation expanding from single projects to regional cooperation and from bilateral links to regional connectivity. Bangladesh sits at the cross of South Asia and Southeast Asia. It is an important gateway connecting the Bay of Bengal and inland Asia. Southwest China shares mountains and rivers with Bangladesh. We have natural advantages in transport links, industrial cooperation, trade, and investment. As high-quality Belt and Road cooperation moves forward, Bangladesh-China cooperation will serve the economic and the social progress of both nations. It will further push regional connectivity, create better conditions for regional cooperation, including the China-Myanmar-Bangladesh economic corridor.
Our sincerity in the partnership and its transformation were noticed and recognized by the Chinese leadership. There are reflections of genuine intention of closer cooperation from both sides. Let me reflect on why I see that China is so important for Bangladesh. Most analysts would tend to look into this relationship through the geopolitical prism and explain through strategic framework. But that would be remiss if we do not factor in the development aspect in our relationship. In recent history, it is China that has pulled out so many people out of poverty in such a short time. China is the biggest economy that has converted itself from agrarian to a manufacturing one so quickly and is now aspiring one to be a knowledge-based one. So be it agriculture, renewables, water security, transport or environment, China remains as a big example for future of Bangladesh. China is important for what we can learn from them in our own development journey. If one looks at the joint communique, you would find plenty of examples where the promised cooperation touches our development agenda. On the economic front, the visit delivered outcomes of considerable significance. The decision to align Bangladesh's 9th five-year plan with China's 15th five-year plan is important. It shifts our cooperation from a collection of individual projects to a more structured, long-term development partnership, which will be incorporated in mutual planning process for better coordination. Our industrial cooperation should be perceived through the idea of the Japanese economist Kaname Akamatsu, who explained how labor-intensive industries move from high-wage to low-wage countries in East and Southeast Asia. With increasing higher wages in China,
The production now needs to be relocated, and Bangladesh offers a suitable destination.
At the outset, I warmly welcome our distinguished guest. Your presence today reflects not only the importance of this seminar, but also the growing significance of the partnership between Bangladesh and China. Thanks to the keynote speaker, Ambassador Safiur Rahman, for nice presentation of your keynote paper. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an old saying, friendship builds trust. Trust creates opportunity, and opportunity shapes the future.
It is a great pleasure and privilege to join this distinguished gathering to exchange views on a subject of profound importance to both our countries, Bangladesh-China relations, enhance trust and new direction. I would like to thank South Asian Institute of Policy and Governance of North-South University for organizing this timely discussion. Bangladesh and China are linked by a relationship that has steadily evolved into one of the most important strategic partnerships in our region. Ours is a friendship rooted in mutual respect, sovereign equality, non-interference, and a shared aspiration of peace, stability, and development. China has long been a trusted friend and a valued strategic partner of Bangladesh.